Hi, and welcome back to my little film and TV channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. And we have a Netflix series to have a look at today. Please, before we do that, please push that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Push those notifications. I'll try and inform and entertain on these reviews and various other little things I do on film and TV as well. So it'd be great to have you on board, and please spread the word. And also, if you can give a little thumbs up, guys, it's much appreciated. You make an old TV and film watcher very, very happy. So today, yes, Netflix is where we're going, and we're going to look at an Australian import to Netflix. Not always the greatest, but an interesting one. Yeah, a bit mixed views on this one. It's called Echoes. It's 7 episodes. I watched this over 3 days. Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle because obviously with Netflix you're only allowed to watch something on one device. So with my good ladies watching Netflix, I try to watch a couple of episodes morning, early afternoon, and then obviously my good lady usually watches a lot of Netflix in the afternoon, so I have to turn it off, and so she can watch downstairs. But I'm not paying extra. Why pay extra? It should be normal, like Amazon. I mean, I don't have a lot of love for Amazon, but at least you can watch it on more than one device at the same time. Say with Netflix, I think you can if you pay a little bit extra. I might be wrong. My apologies, Netflix, if I am. Anyway, so this was watched the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of August. You don't want to know my problems, do you? And all these scores as at the 23rd of August 2022. Audience on Rotten Tomatoes pretty much split down the middle, just a 49% positivity, so 51% not positive, negative. Yes, that's the opposite, isn't it? Internet Movie Database, yeah, just under the 6 out of 10 I like to see. So it's a 5.7 out of 10 with 1,598 scores and reviews. And interestingly enough, though, if you take away the 10 out of 10s and the 1 out of 10s, as I normally do, if you watch my channel, yeah, that leaves 831 scored between 6 and 9 and 465 scored it between 2 and 5. So that's a 64% positivity. So, yeah, so that's good. All bodes reasonably well for this little, what they call a mini series. Although for me, a mini series is probably 3 or 4 episodes. I don't know how 7 episodes, but I see what the point is. It's a mystery thriller, this, about identical twins Lenny and Gina. Yeah, a bit like a grown up parent trap, based over 7 episodes. Who share, obviously a lot darker, who share a dangerous secret. They've secretly swapped lives since they were children, culminating in a double life as adults where they share 2 homes, 2 husbands, and a child. Yes, it does get a bit confusing at times, especially for my old head. Their world is thrown into disarray when one of the twins goes missing. So an interesting premise, I thought, and I must admit, yeah, we'll talk about it. But yeah, nothing wrong with that premise. It's been done before, of course it has, but it's just quite interesting to me. It stars Michelle Monaghan, who has the unenviable task of playing both Lenny and Gina McCleary, Matt Boomer as Jack, Daniel Sunjata as Giles, Alice Stroker as Claudia, Karen Robinson as Sheriff Louise Floss. Yes, well done, Karen. Interesting character. Rosanny Zayas as Deputy Paula Martinez, Michael O'Neill as Victor, Celia Weston as Georgia, and Gable Swanland as Matilda. Jonathan Tucker as Dylan James. So, and a few recurring characters as well. What about the critics? Well, this is all that matters, isn't it? Not so hot on it as so the public are better, even though it's not outstanding. Rotten Tomatoes is just 25% positivity with their critics. Metascore, the other critics we look at, a little bit higher, 46%. Well, that's just based on nine reviews, and that's just one positive, 6 mixed, and 2 negative reviews. And it scored anything between 20 out of 100 and 67 out of 100, although most of the scores on Metascore were about the 40 mark. So let's have a look at some individuals. So let's name and shame. Caroline Frankham, she was fresh. Yeah, she's from Variety. She liked it. She said it's twisty, bit repetitive, making sure every plot point gets several scenes to marinate. All the while, Michelle Monaghan throws herself into the challenge of portraying twins with the delirious freedom that the show's hyperbolic framework allows. So I think a fresh review is more, I think, for Michelle Monaghan than perhaps the series itself. And yes, I have to agree, she does a good job. There's no doubt about that. But we'll talk about other things. Rotten though, there's a few rotten. Brian Lowry from CNN.com, he said Netflix gets a lot of mileage out of these kind of mysteries, but all for its contortionist, swervy twists and turns. Echoes begins looking like an enticing plunge and doesn't quite pull itself out of the shallow end of the gene pool. Yeah, well put, yeah, close but no cigar for me. John Townsend from Slant Magazine, stretched over 7 episodes with a number of distracting subplots, the series overcomplicates its initially intriguing premise. Yep, absolutely. My head hurt by the end of it, and I totally agree with that statement. I can't go against it. Brian Tellerico, he wrote on RogerEbert.com his little review. He said, the main problem with Echoes is the most common TV problem of the current era. It doesn't have the story to support a series. We can put up with silly characters like this in a 100-minute movie, maybe. But stretching out this kind of unrealistic behaviour to 7 episodes simply breaks the potential entertainment value by highlighting how unbelievable everyone is forced to be just to get to the next end credits. Yeah, there are a couple of interesting cliffhangers, but yeah, they're not enough perhaps to make you forget the sort of lethargy at times that led up to it. And they say it started really well. Even episode 1, which I thought was okay, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You know, it sort of livened up right at the end, in the way that sometimes a series that people rave over. It sort of dawdles along in the last episode when you know there's going to be a series 2. The last episode of series 1 sort of gets you all giddy for it, even though you got a little bit bored with what came before. And this falls into the same trap within the series itself. The Guardian's Adrian Horton, he gave it 40 out of 100, 4-0. He said, my physical reactions while watching this series, shrug, eye roll, blank stare, huh? And typical for a certain category of Netflix original. Disposable content that's barely passable, but just watchable enough to likely garner millions of views. Yep, and that's what Netflix is there for. Yeah, it is a little bit unbelievable at times, and perhaps it'd been a comedy thriller. Perhaps that may have helped this, but it's not. It's a murder mystery thriller. So, yeah, the word comedy doesn't really come into it. Right, my little thoughts, guys, before we finish off. I'm only going to give this. I'll give you my score now. 5 out of 10. I think it deserves a score because I did sit through it. I did sit through the 7 episodes. I wasn't bored stiff, but neither was I enthused, if you like. I mean, early potential, as I said, from the end of episode 1, when I thought, oh, that's cool. I'm looking forward to episode 2. But then as the thing went on, it began to slowly dwindle. And by episodes 4 and 5, sort of onwards, my old brain was struggling as well to keep up with who was who and doing what with whom. It was just getting a bit too much for me. Certainly as I say, with a binge watch, I might have been able to follow it a little bit better. But I say, split into 3 watches, 2 or 3 hours a day, it was a bit of a struggle. 7 episodes is just too long. I think there's definitely, as someone said before, one of the critics said before, about maybe it might be better as a 90-minute film or 120-minute film or whatever. I think there is a 90, 120 minutes in here somewhere because I do like the synopsis. But what we get is unfortunately a little bit repetitive, very silly, and at times very bland. And as I said, there is some darkness in it, as you'd expect, but it just gets lost in it all. And it's a shame that, perhaps 3 or 4, at a pinch, say a 3-episode miniseries could have been made out of this. There's certainly the actors there, the sets there, everything's in the right position. It just missed out, unfortunately, with a script that worked for 7 episodes or didn't work for 7 episodes, whichever way you look at it. But I did lose real interest about halfway through. As I said, by episode 4, I was sort of watching it because I wanted to see what was going to happen, but it was sort of not at the forefront of my mind, that's for sure. And it actually, as you'd expect in any good series, whether it's good or bad, sets itself up for a sequel, and I do hope that doesn't arrive, but we'll have to see, won't we? Anyway, let me know what you think, guys, for this mini-series now showing on Netflix here in the UK, so check your streaming site wherever you are, called Echoes, from an Australian murder mystery thriller. Anyway, let me know what you think, guys. Thanks for watching. Please, until we meet again, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.